Good morning everyone, today we're going to be talking about the 10-star rarity weapons because they are available in the game. SEGA did make a mistake and they released the weapon 2 weeks before it's supposed to come out, but they did make an official post about it and we're going to be covering it in today's video. But before we jump into all of that, if you're new to the channel, I upload NGS content daily, so if you do play this game, I would really appreciate a subscribe as it really helps out the channel. Anyway, without further ado, let's begin the video. So the very first thing I want to go over is of course SEGA's announcement regarding the 10-star rarity Flugelgard series that is available right now. It wasn't supposed to come out until November 15, however it was released on the 1st of November with this update. So in their official statement they said, due to a settings error, the 10-star Flugelgard weapon series, which was scheduled to be released after the end of scheduled maintenance on November 15, was added as a drop in the Urgent Quest Mining Rig Defense Retem Rank 3 as of the end of scheduled maintenance on November 1st. After consideration by the development team, we have decided not to modify the setting, and at this time, the specification will remain so that the weapon series will continue to drop in this quest. The 10-star rarity Flugelgard weapon series will also drop in the Trigger Quest Drill Mining Rig Defense Retem Rank 3, and they also put a little asterisk over here. Any 10-star Flugelgard weapons already in your possession can be kept and used as is. We sincerely apologize for the release of the Flugelgard series differing from what it was originally announced. So the TLDR over here is, yes, you can obtain the 10-star rarity weapons, however they only drop in Mining Rig Defense. So if you are farming Darkfall Soulless and any of the other content, I do not believe it drops there. I haven't seen anyone get anything from it so far, and it's been several days already. However, in Mining Rig Defense, especially through the triggers, I've seen quite a lot of these weapons dropping. It's actually pretty nice to see. The drop rate is significantly better than the Tisha weapons, so I am very happy to see that SEGA is taking rare drop rate into consideration, as well as the rarity of certain weapons. So this is a really good thing. However, none of this matters if the 10-star rarity weapons aren't better than the 9-star rarity weapons, because obviously people are hunting down these weapons because they're worth money, because a lot of people want them because they're better than the current weapons, or they're the best in slot. And I'm happy to say that the Flugelgard weapon series are considered best in slot. They are better than any of your 9-star rarity weapons simply because the attack stat is higher. However, more importantly is the faithful unit. So as we can see here, the faithful unit weapon potential is potency plus 37%. All allies receive support effects for 120 seconds after using a photon blast, and these support effects stack. Now, the number one question that I've been getting recently is, what exactly are these support effects? So as we know so far, there are 3 different support effects. The first one is 15% damage reduction. The second one is 15% PP cost reduction for all of your photon arts as well as techniques. And the last one is plus 5% critical hit chance. So the big question over here that we have not been able to test, or at least I don't have the answer of yet, is do you get all 3 of these buffs at once the moment you use a photon blast, or do you get a random one, or is there a certain order to it? So this is something that we have not concluded yet. We haven't been able to get any conclusive data simply because no one that I know actually has a Flugelgard weapon, unfortunately. Now, in an ideal world, you would get all 3 buffs simultaneously once you use your photon blast, and that would be really powerful. However, of course, as I said earlier, I don't know how it works, so if anyone does have this weapon, please test it out for me. Thank you very much. Now, the next most frequently asked question is, Caro, I have a Veshma weapon with a high FIXA, or I have a Neo Astron weapon with a high FIXA, or a Tisha with a high FIXA. Do I need to upgrade to the 10-star rarity weapons? To be honest, you don't have to. If you use Cakewalk's DPS calculator, and if you have the exact same augments as me, where you have LC capsules on your weapon, and then as for your armors, you're fully min-maxed with an XD capsule, Gladius Soul, Hal Finale, or blah blah blah, all of these things, then the vanilla 10-star rarity weapon is going to perform about the same as the Veshma weapon in terms of damage. Now, do keep in mind that I do have a FIXA Termina 3. If you have a FIXA Termina 1 or a FIXA Termina 2, then the 10-star rarity weapon is going to pull ahead in damage. However, something that you do need to keep in mind is the 10-star rarity weapon excels in group play because of the weapon potential faithful unit, which gives you the 2-minute buff for everyone around you. Remember, this is not limited to people in your party. It affects everyone around you, and the radius is actually really big. It's larger than Shifta D-band that the Techers give. The Techers do Shifta D-band, you see that giant circle on the ground and you walk into it to get the buff. It's bigger than that radius. It's actually really big. The JP servers tested it and they said that it's like almost the entire arena of like a purple trigger. I don't think it's that big. I'm pretty sure that was like me misunderstanding, but I'm pretty sure it's about the same size as a yellow trigger. So when you go into the yellow trigger, the waiting room where you can pick up all your potions and stuff, like the Stia purple trigger, I believe the radius is about that big. So the range for this buff is pretty big, so you can safely use your Photon Blast whenever you want, and boom, everyone around you is going to get a huge damage boost simply because they get the damage reduction. They can spam more Photon Arts as well as techniques because of the PP cost reduction, and of course the critical hit rate is going to be increased, and that's going to give everyone even more DPS overall. Especially later down the line when people start upgrading to the 10-star rarity weapons and start moving away from the Veshmail weapons, that is when this weapon is going to shine a lot. The more people who have this weapon, the better, because remember it says right here, these support effects stack. Now, how many times does it stack? We don't know. We are going to need to test it. I'm going to assume there's got to be a cap to it. Maybe it stacks 4 times, 8 times, 10 times, but I'm pretty sure that there should be a cap on it, because could you imagine if there was no cap on it? And let's say you're in an exploration zone with 32 players farming veterans and stuff, and everyone Photon Blasts. If there's no limit to the stacking and it stacks 32 times, like that would give you a 160% crit chance, which is absolutely insane. Obviously it's probably not going to work like that. Then again, the buff could work multiplicative on top of each other instead of additive. So there's still a lot of stuff that we don't know about the weapon potential, simply because we don't have the means to test it, because we don't know multiple people that have this weapon. However, as more and more people obtain this weapon, we are going to get more solid data, because there's going to be more people to test stuff, and that way we'll know exactly how the weapon potential works. However, on the flip side, if you are not a group player or a party player and you like to do everything solo, then you can definitely get by just using a Veshmail weapon or Tisha weapon, or if you're a Slayer, you can even get away with a Neo-Astron weapon as long as you have a high FIXA on it. I believe Neo-Astron weapons are probably not that difficult to get high fixes on it, because remember, you could always use your Neo-Js as fodder in order to enhance your fixas to get higher level fixas. So that's a little bit of tidbit of information in case you want to craft a high level fixa Neo-Astron. But personally, I wouldn't invest into a Neo-A anymore. Nowadays, I would probably try to aim for a Tisha weapon, since those prices have gone down significantly and they will continue to go down, especially with next week, because remember, next week we actually have an event coming in which gives us 100% rare drop rate, and it lasts for the entire week. So a lot of people are going to be farming for the 10-star rarity weapons. However, remember, in mining rig defense, you can also get Tisha weapons to drop. So what's happening right now is a lot of people are farming mining rig defense and they're not getting the 10-star rarity weapons because the drop rate is pretty low. However, they are obtaining Tisha weapons, but they don't want these anymore because everyone's going for the new 10-star rarity weapons. So the Tisha weapons have gone down in price significantly, and you can also farm these Tisha weapons in the combat zones, especially with Ritem Al Noth now available. So if you are a solo player, I would recommend either just sticking with the Veshmail weapons or the Tisha weapons and just settle like that until we see a new 10-star rarity weapon come out. Or better yet, you can wait for the new Melik weapon series, which is the next 9-star rarity, which is a farmable weapon. So maybe you might want to save your augments for that weapon later down the line, since that weapon series does come out in a couple of weeks. So at the end of the day, are these 10-star rarity weapons worth it? Yes, if you want the best in slot, they are worth it. However, just keep in mind that they really benefit in party play. If you are a solo player, getting these 10-star rarity weapons aren't going to be anything special. However, if you're playing in a party with many people who have this weapon, that is when this weapon will shine, because all of those buffs will stack on top of each other whenever you do a Photon Blast, especially in certain content such as Darkfall Solace, as Urgent Quest, Mining Rig Defense, a lot of that type of group content, that is where the Flugelgard weapon series will really shine. In solo content, you're not really going to feel a massive difference between the current 9-star rarity weapons versus the 10-star rarity weapons. The DPS increase is there, but it's very minute. It might be like a 5% DPS increase, unless of course you're like me and you do have a high FIXA on your weapons already. So I consider anything that is FIXA 3 or above is considered a high FIXA. So yeah, if you do have a high FIXA on your current 9-star rarity weapons, then you probably don't need to stress over the 10-star rarity weapons, other than, you know, just being able to brag and say like, hey, I got the 10-star rarity weapons. But I believe the majority of you guys want the 10-star rarity weapons to sell on the market to make, you know, that 100 mil, 200 mil, make a lot of money off the player market. And totally understandable. I would probably do the same unless I got a katana. If I got a Flugelgard katana, I would use it because I'm just weird like that. Special thanks to all the members for supporting the channel. It really means a lot to me. Thank you again. But yeah, that's all I wanted to cover in today's video. Hopefully you guys found it helpful. If you did, I would appreciate a like and a subscribe, and I'll see you guys in tomorrow's video. Bye.